Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful philosophical blueprint. And this isn't just about critiquing the past. Not at all. It's a vision for how to heal one of the deepest wounds in human history.
You see, the damage of colonialism wasn't just about taking land or resources. It was a direct, calculated attack on the very definition of what it means to be human. This quote, it gets right to the heart of it. This was an assault on being itself, an attempt to fundamentally rewrite who even counts as a person.
So, if the problem is an assault on being, well, the solution has to fight on that same deep level. And that's where this key idea comes in: ontological repair. Now, ontological sounds complicated, but it just means anything related to the nature of being or existence. So this isn't about political fixes. It's about the essential, tough work of restoring a people's very understanding of their own humanity.
All right, so let's first really unpack the nature of this wound, because you have to understand the injury if you're ever going to understand the cure. And this was a fracture not in the body, but in the soul of a continent. And this is so crucial. This is why gaining political independence, as huge as that was, didn't automatically heal the damage. The deepest harm was psychological, it was spiritual, it was an attack on the very idea of African humanity. The question of who you are, that remained poisoned.
And that leads us to the central question that this entire framework of post-colonial African humanism is trying to answer. And notice, it's a forward-looking question, right? A constructive one. It's not just about what was done, it's about what we can build right now.
So how do you even begin this kind of repair? Well, the blueprint starts with the foundations that were there all along, long before colonial contact, a deep well of spirituality and ethics. Now, what's so fascinating here is how this presents a completely different way of defining what a person is. In this pre-colonial framework, humanity wasn't about your race or your biology. Nope, it was defined by your relationships, by your ethical conduct. You actually achieved personhood through how you lived. And that famous concept, I am because we are, shows that the community is what validates the individual. That is a direct counterpunch to colonial dehumanization.
And this comparison just lays it out so brilliantly. Colonial logic is obsessed with hierarchy. It's constantly asking who's superior. And that question is designed to justify control. But African ethics, it completely flips the script. It asks who is responsible. This shifts the entire goal from control to community, from hierarchy to accountability. It literally dismantles the logic of oppression at its root.
So we have a foundation of spirituality and ethics. How does this repair project keep building? Well, the next crucial tool is art. And we're not talking about decoration or just entertainment here. In this context, art is an active, vital form of resistance. Think about how caricature and propaganda actually work. The #1 tactic of dehumanization is to strip a person of their inner world. You make them simple, one-dimensional, predictable. You deny their complexity. And that's why art is the perfect antidote. It does the exact opposite. Art is literally the practice of exploring the richness of an inner life. It's maybe the most powerful way to prove that someone is fully, complicatedly human. So what specifically does art restore? All of this. All the messy, beautiful, complicated stuff that makes us human. An African character in a film or a novel who is shown thinking, feeling doubt, desire, love, internal conflict. That character is already a liberated figure. They are freed from the monkey lie. So the takeaway here is huge. Storytelling in all its forms isn't some optional extra. It is fundamental. It's the infrastructure that holds a people's dignity, their moral memory, and their sense of self together across the generations. It is just as essential as roads and bridges. Now, this isn't just a historical project. The work of self-definition is happening right now today on 2 major battlegrounds, in the classroom and online. A decolonized education system is absolutely central to this repair. It means starting the story of Africa before the arrival of Europeans. It means treating African philosophical traditions with the exact same intellectual seriousness as any other. And, ultimately, it's about training students not just to consume information, but to be dignified, critical thinkers in their own right. And today, technology completely changes the game. I mean, for the first time in history, Africans can represent themselves on a global stage without asking anyone for permission. Social media, film, AI, these things are not neutral.
They are the modern arenas where identity is being forged and debated every single day. They are powerful, powerful tools for self-definition.
So, what is the goal of all of this work? The spiritual grounding, the ethical framework, the art, the education. What's the final outcome? It's to produce a certain kind of person, the self-defined human.
I mean, just look at these qualities. This is someone who's deeply connected to their own culture, but can navigate the entire world. Someone who is ethically serious, but also open and curious. And this is the real kicker. This person completely rejects the toxic choice between feeling inferior or needing to feel superior. They understand that their dignity is inherent. It's not something that can be given or taken away by anybody.
And that brings us to the ultimate defense. For a person with this deep, internally built sense of self, that original colonial insult, well, it just doesn't work anymore. It has no psychological or spiritual place to land. It just becomes meaningless. And that leaves us with this final, really powerful idea. The goal isn't to spend forever arguing with the old insults. The most powerful response is to simply get on with the constructive project of being fully, complexly, and unapologetically human, on your own terms. That right there is the victory.